Hi, this is Carolyn James from Holistic Campus, and today I'm talking with Lauri Ivers, who is one of the founding practitioners, and she's also an intuitive guide to allow messages from all universal life beings. So welcome, Lauri.
Hey, Carolyn, it's great to be with you, and I'm excited to share with everybody how I work and what I'm happy to bring.
Beautiful. So can you kind of explain what that means? I know you just downloaded that from Spirit a minute ago.
Well, it means that I am an open vessel to bring messages of empowerment to you about how anyone who is on a path of internal awareness can be mindfully brought up to speed so that they can create with ease.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So someone will come to you with an issue, or who is attracted to you, and like, what are some of the
Well, I work a lot with people who are in transition. They may have felt that life was one thing, and then all of a sudden, shock and awe, and they are left in a crumbled piece. And we're here to show them that the dismantling was actually an opportunity to become who they really are.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
And I know when you and I were talking about the sessions, you work with all different kinds of people, and as well those that are really perhaps struggling with addiction or trauma or things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's really no humanness that we're not willing to address, because humanness is a misunderstanding of truth.
Oh, what a great way to put it.
It's a beautiful experience and expression, but it's seen as it's very one-noted, and it's actually a beautiful symphony, and we like to bring people their remembrance of their own divinity and how they can use their own divinity, which is perfection in each now moment, to experience greater ease and fulfillment and joy in health, wealth, love, success, all of those areas. And I'm grateful to say that I was a regular human, the others, and yet no one is, and everyone has the same capacity to be as fluid with that internal truth that is it's always there. And we like to give them their wand and their car keys and a platform to drive from, which is very simple, very pragmatic, and very easy. It's just the application, which is mindfulness, that may become hard.
Anybody can come to you from any level, yes?
Absolutely. But what people will most likely find is that I will not minimalize them, even if they think minimally of themselves. I will instantly know who they really are, what their trip is about, where they maybe fell down along the way, and give them information to remedy that from that moment forward.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing. And often they can come and just know, okay, I fell down, but not necessarily know how to get back.
The only special request I might have is desire. That they have a desire to move forward, that they have a desire to lose what's dogging their heels. Because a catalyst is generally brought forth, and it could be incremental or monumental. But once the catalyst arrives, they have that moment of, I hear Spirit saying, sink or swim. We like to show them they already have an internal flotation device. And it's not hard to, I guess on like a parachute, you would pull the plug. That's what Spirit's doing. They're showing how you can just pull that open and you will be supported. So we would start with anyone, wherever they happen to be. I would say to people, as they might see, as you and I are going to share a little time together after we meet here, that it's a lot of information, but it's very simplistic in application. No longer would they be a monk on a mountain. No longer would they take themselves out of the game or to cloister themselves away in any fashion, but to be amongst the creation of all in the beauty of its expression.
Oh, what a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So how did you get on this road, Lauri?
Well, I've been on it it my whole life. I just didn't remember. So I actually started through a catalyst of divorce. And I was being a good girl. I was always good. I wasn't a hellion, as some people might think you might need to be to get to the other side. But I really just played by human perceptions of what was possible, only to deplete myself by pleasing people, not choosing things that I liked, becoming automated in a role that really felt so far away from me that I was apathetic. Meaning, like, going through the world, going through the day, but wondering what was the point. And I had, according to the humans, really beautiful things. I had 2 cars, 2 houses, 2 kids, beautiful children. I brought them still on the ride.
Along, didn't you?
They were the gift. But I couldn't even appreciate that gift because I was so in my mind of belief or judgment or expectation of the way life was supposed to be that I didn't allow life to unfold to be. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And that was about 10 years ago that catalyst occurred. And I could tell you that when you have the purview to look back, you can go, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, get it.
So that's why that was.
Through it, it's awfully supportive to have another to hold your hand as you walk. I myself sort of came to my awakening a lot within myself rather than that external support. And yet I kept holding that desire and putting it forth to connect with these beautiful beings. And you're a great validation of that. If people had met me 10 years ago and they meet me today, they'd be like, whew, that's such a transformation. And transformation is the journey of the soul. So it doesn't happen in generally one big magic wand, poof, shazam. Yeah. It is the joy of the soul to travel and receive.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
But you've been connected, if you will, your whole life, it sounds like.
Well, everyone is.
Oh, true. Did you know it as a kid, though?
No, I had moments as a kid that I did know. As you know, I have a lot of energy. Like, this is my best low down energy I got going on right here. But I was always a jumpy, happy, joyful Mexican jumping bean, even though I landed, as most beings do, in a contrast called human family, the story of the family. It was a pretty intense drama. However, I was always in my own little land. And I remember I was like the only one that had to take a nap. There were 3 of us. I was the middle one. And I was the one that had to take a nap. And that's when I first remembered, as I awakened, that's where I first remembered seeing, and I'll use this label. And the label is the label of an energy that we humans use. But when you're across the other side, your essence just knows the love of the label. Does that make sense? Because I'm going to say Archangel Michael, but those are paradigms that we've used for creation, but that essence is the soul of that entity.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So labels are great, and I use them because they're part of my lineage. I grew up as a Catholic girl. I'm very comfortable with that label. It's very comforting to my heart. Mm-hmm. But if someone wanted to call Archangel Michael Moonbeam, I say, well, okay, let's do it. Rock on, you know? Because it's not about the dogma or the doctrine. It is about the essence of love, which is always present. So I remember Archangel Michael coming to my window because I was crying and sobbing, having to take that nap. I was pretty happy. I had some vibe. I didn't really want to take a nap. And I remember, like, you know how little kids get, like, couldn't breathe? Yeah. And I remember at that moment that he came to my window. And I always hear a spirit in my head. Some people see, some people feel. I've always sort of just heard them first and feel a lot, and then I get a vision. That's my process. Everybody's will be uniquely different. And I do teach people how to tap into that, which is awesome because it's
very cool
in an instant. And they'll be a little bit flummoxed or something. That's the word I keep hearing.
Flummoxed. They use the best words, but
I have such an extensive vocabulary because I'm linked up to the knowledge of all that is, so it's pretty cool. But I remember hearing him say, I will always be with you and you needn't be afraid. Lay down and take a rest, and when you awaken you will feel better. That's what he told me.
Beautiful.
And like any little 4-year-old kid, you wake up, you're on like a new clean slate, you're ready to go. So you do forget things, but those incremental moments add up through eons of experiences in different characters. And part of what I do is suss out the trigger point from this moment attached to all those other experiences that you placed on your trip of evolution. So we'll have a trigger. It will be attached to a seeming occurrence now, but it will also be attached to all of your soul and what your soul's ready to release and expand into. That's very much what we specialize in.
Amazing. Well, I know we're going to work together in a little bit, but is there anything else you wanted to share before we did that?
Well, let me just check in and see. Well, my big juicy heart spirit says that they want to let people know that I'm a they're making me laugh about it. I'm a bit of a spitfire. I'm fast and direct. I come always with humor and unconditional love and compassion. And I'm a hard, fast stickler about not allowing people who desire to work with me treat themselves less than in equanimity with all that is. So if someone says something to me that's derogatory or a low frequency, and we'll talk about that a little bit when you and I work together, I'm like a laser beam, and I will go right to that to give them awareness so that they can see where they're judging themselves or something else, because that's where the rubber hits the road and resistance begins.
And I can verify what Spirit says. Yes, I agree.
What did you say, sweetie?
I said I can verify what Spirit says. You know, all that and more.
Thank you. I'm so grateful.
Okay, dear. We'll see you in a sec.
All right, darling.